Hey guys, Polyester Giant here, and today I'm going to review the new Killers record, Imploding the Mirage. While I'm not a huge fan of the Killers, I certainly appreciate their bombastic nature and ability to squeeze every drop of sentimentality from their sort of arena rock stylings, and this is no different here. On their first couple albums, we see solid examples of good songwriting that was amplified by deserving instrumentals. They're not without their flaws, of course, but I appreciated this sort of unique but accessible flow they had going for them. This momentum unfortunately falls apart on their third effort, Day and Age. While there were some standout tracks here, for instance Spaceman and Joyride, for the most part the sound itself felt tame. The further this band fell down the rabbit hole of storytelling songwriting correlated with a more bare-bones approach to the structure of each song, and it left me feeling unengaged. This problem was amplified with the release of the LP after this, Battleborn. Contrary to its title, this thing put me to sleep. Almost every song here, including the louder and more vivacious ones, had a bland and uninteresting sense of direction. So much of it felt uninspired, like they were going through the motions, and trying but failing to refine their new sound. Luckily, the band went through a bit of a metamorphosis with the record following this, Wonderful Wonderful. This one, despite its oftentimes derivative structure, managed to captivate me again with standout production that boosted its glimmering tracklist. Again, not perfect by any means, but a good return to form. And with that long introduction, we find ourselves at Imploding the Mirage, their latest and greatest effort since perhaps Sam's Town. Now, don't get me wrong, this thing is flawed, very much so, as seems to be the custom for each and every one of the releases. Like Wonderful Wonderful, it seems to trade the soul of the band's songwriting for engaging production. But unlike that aforementioned album, it buys bits and pieces of that soul back, and now we see the good of both worlds. Now, this isn't the best of both worlds. For instance, Wonderful Wonderful was poppier and more immediate, and their first two releases featured more precision in their songwriting that cut deeper. But the Killers are still able to craft something cohesive here, probably one of their most cohesive albums ever. For instance, there's an overlying appeal to intimacy contrasted engagingly with bombastic and overblown instrumentation. The electronic work, when it shines, is effervescent and caps off the guitar and bass tones great. I loved the introduction to Caution, for example, after the little vocal part at the beginning. Another great instrumental is Fire and Bone, with that magnanimous bass riff and great vocal delivery. And on the topic of vocal delivery, Brandon Flowers gives a fantastic performance here. He does falter, and it's not all very fluent, but his simultaneously quivering and fiery approach leave a good impression on me. It's not subtle, but this meshes well with the band in general. That's why, upon hearing the K.D. Lang feature on Lightning Fields, I was a little put off. It felt very awkward and too finely tuned compared to Brandon's vocalization. The song in general is a bit of a slog too. The same goes for a couple others here, for instance Dying Breed and Blowback before that great guitar twang precedes the chorus, aren't able to captivate me in any capacity, and like many of the songs here feature choruses that just don't land. And regarding things that just don't land, some of the production choices here are less than ideal. I'm not a fan of the beginning of My God, for example, although the song itself offers an enjoyable introspection of religion and its values. The band also comes off as believable here, as they do with much of the rest of the album, but the production, as much of an improvement as it is, doesn't back that up. I understand that this is sort of their flair, but the lyrics on some of these tracks, for instance Blowback, deserve an instrumental that's more intimate, something that I just don't know the Killers are capable of. It works on songs like My God because the lyrics there are platitudinous and driving, something which can't be said for everything here. Although I do want to note the cool lyric on My Own Soul's Warning when he says that the Thunderhead's performing, and later on When the Dreams Run Dry when he shouts out, "We're all gonna die." For the most part though, we see a fresh coat of paint for a band that just doesn't know what to do with it, and that's disappointing. The album itself is a solid improvement upon the shaky Wonderful Wonderful. I enjoyed my time with it, but there's just not much here I see myself coming back to. On repeated listens, I don't really get anything more from it. I'm feeling a 40 on this thing. This second wind of their career is already getting a bit tiresome. So what did you guys think of this LP? Let me know down in the comments below. If there are any records you'd like to see reviewed by me, feel free to ask. And if you like this content, consider subscribing and hitting that bell for more of it. In any case, thanks for your time, and have a great day.